All hail a beard, it's your boy Big Beard B, and we are back for another edition of Big Beard Business. Today we're talking about my top 5 flanker pickups of 2022 so far. Yes, we got a lot of year left to go, but these are some of the most coveted fragrances that I picked up this year that are designer flankers. Now, before we get into today's video, I wanted to take a pause for the cause. Listen, because this is important to me and hopefully it's important to you, and if not, hopefully it will be. Today's video sponsors, the people bringing this together are my good friends over at Manscaped.com, and I want to talk about them for a second because this video is a little bit different. Now, today we're talking about testicular cancer and the importance of regular checkups as well as what they are doing to give back. Now, if you did not know, testicular cancer, if you're 15 to 35, that is the leading form of cancer in men. And although it's not often looked at as being extremely deadly, I did lose my grandfather, one of the most influential men in my life, to testicular cancer. So I wanted to make sure that we took an opportunity to talk about this because what they're doing is really, really cool. So Manscaped is partnering up with the Testicular Cancer Society to give away $50,000, to donate $50,000 to them, and to make sure you're in the loop here, they're also doing a special edition of their Lawnmower 4.0. Now, they did a limited run of only 10,000 of these black and purple editions. So if you've ever been thinking about getting Manscaped and you wanted to try the Lawnmower 4.0, this is your time to get one that is exclusive and special and actually goes back to a good cause. So get it before it's gone. As you know, Manscaped takes everything below the waist extremely seriously, so make sure that you are taking care of yourself and doing regular checkups at home as well. I'll leave the information linked and listed there for you in terms of what to do at home. You can go to manscaped.com/TCS, the Testicular Cancer Society, and you'll have all the information that you need there as well. But if you're looking to pick this up, just use the code down below, click on my link, and you'll be able to pick this up for 20% off. And I wanted to make sure that you were aware that I'm even rocking my We Save Balls shirt, so together we can save balls by clicking on the link down below and heading over to manscaped.com. Now, that's going to be one of your best pickups of 2022. Now let's go ahead and hop into some of these fragrances and get down to business. So first up on my list today is a fragrance that I recently did in my week of first impressions, because this is a flanker of a fragrance that has really changed the way that this particular fragrance house does their fragrances. And the fragrance house that we're talking about is Valentino. This one happens to be Valentino, born in Roma, Uomo Coral Fantasy EDT. Now that is a mouthful, but this fragrance really does get the people going, and this is going to be one of those fragrances that really do stand out and work well for you within these spring and summer months. This one's bright, it's fresh, it has that apple within this fragrance as well that I think is really done in a great way for a designer fragrance, and something that I think is going to be truly enjoyable. Now, my son came across this one within Sephora and was like, yo, Dad, I don't think you got this one, it's dope. Pick it up, and this thing is really, really nice. I've been able to get some additional wearings in on this fragrance, and it's one that I think is really nice, especially compared to some of the other fragrances within that Born in Roma lineup. I think that this is one of the better ones in my personal opinion. And again, this one plays the line between that juvenile feel, but also kind of can go into that 30 plus feel. So if you're looking to try something out that's not too serious, but also not too playful, then go ahead and try this one out. Valentino, Born in Roma, Coral Fantasy EDT. This one is obviously the Uomo edition. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to our next fragrance that comes from a legendary line of fragrances, and this one is really no different. This one's going to set itself on a path to be amazing. The fragrance that I'm talking about comes from the house of Paco Rabanne, and this one happens to be none other than Paco Rabanne 1 Million Elixir. Now, 1 Million Elixir is a fragrance that nods itself to the 1 Million lineup, but is a bit different. This one has rose, cedar, and vanilla. This one is this warm, earthy scent. Now, like a lot of the Paco Rabanne lineup, this one still plays in that seductive range in terms of what they want to be and sensual. And I feel that this fragrance has enough touch of that sweetness mixed with some of the more sensual notes to make this an intriguing fragrance compared to the lineup. So be sure to get your nose on this fragrance. It may not be your favorite from the houses, I guarantee you 1 Million Lucky still is one of my favorites, but this one is really, really nice in my personal opinion. Now, some people gave this one a little bit of flack and were like, nah, B, that ain't it. That one's not for me, but I think that that is a nice scent. It does kind of teeter on maybe the juvenile scent profile, so if you're looking for something that is going to be super mature, that fragrance may not be for you, but it's definitely one of the top flankers that was released in 2022 in my personal opinion. Now, with that stated, if you're looking for something that is a bit more mature, then this next scent could be for you. This one comes from Givenchy, and this one is Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. Listen, I did the first impression on this one and was boom, instantly hooked and addicted. This one has this whiskey nuance with this floral component, and they did something with this note profile and with the fragrance profile that I really, really enjoy and still do to this day. The whiskey note stands out here to me. There's also this chestnut and orris balanced extremely well with this vetiver. And listen, I think that when it comes down to designer fragrances, the level of class and sophistication that I get in this fragrance is really almost unmatched to what the recent fragrance releases have been. Now, I am a fan of these sweet fragrances, and this one really is something kind of reminiscent to what you might have gotten with, a Valentino Uomo intense, right? There's some iris within this fragrance, some Dior Homme Parfum, right? I'd say that this fragrance here is along that line in terms of the caliber of fragrances that I will put this one in. So if you're looking for a fragrance that has that touch of elegance and class with it, that does something a bit different than the current norm, then I think that this is the fragrance that you should try out because it's really nice. It is a great fragrance. In fact, I probably should have put it up a little bit higher on the list, but I love my sweet fragrances and clean fragrances. Okay, so now that takes you into the next fragrance that we'll talk about, which is obviously a bit sweeter. And that takes us into our next fragrance, and this fragrance is one that I really do enjoy. Now, this one is this sweet synthetic fragrance, but it works for me. This one is iris, it's pineapple, it's coconut, and this one is Beau Le Parfum. This thing here is nice. Okay, if you're looking for a spring fragrance that is going to really, in my personal opinion, allow those compliments to roll in, something that's going to be, again, a bit different than the norm because the added note of coconut, how it mixes in with that pineapple, they really did something that I personally find is just amazing when it comes down to some of the fragrances that were released this year and some of last year as well. With this fragrance, they were looking to convey something that was a bit mischievous, a fragrance that had a manly component to it, a fragrance that was still crowd pleasing, and I would say that they did exactly what they set out to do with this fragrance. The Beau Le Parfum is a fragrance that I think is going to be on a lot of people's list, and as it begins to get more and more into the rotation, I feel that this fragrance is one that it's going to be highly respected, all right? One of the standout fragrance flankers for the year, if you're asking me, but it doesn't take the cake of this next fragrance. The next fragrance and the final fragrance that we'll talk about today comes from Armani, and this one is Armani Acqua de Gel Eau de Parfum, all right? So this is the EDP. This one is that grandpappy of the original, one of the best-selling fragrances of all time, if you let anyone tell it. All right, this scent here is really really amazing. They took that original DNA, they amplified it, they made it more, and it also lasts, okay? That's something that we are looking for these fragrances to do for us, especially when there's so many fragrances coming out and you have your picks and chooses in terms of what you like, and what fragrances will last. You can grab, and which ones don't, you can pass up on. So they need to understand this. It has this woody base in here, still have that aquatic feel within this fragrance, and it's amplified. It's taken to a whole nother level. You can wear this one, in my personal opinion, all year. Obviously it's going to do best in that warmer environment, but still a staple, one that you can wear to the office, you can wear casually, and you can really feel good about yourself in terms of wearing this fragrance. If we're looking across the entire fleet of flankers that Acqua di Gio has birthed, obviously Profumo is one of those scents that stand out there, and then obviously this EDP is going to be one of those top tier scents for sure. So those are 5 flankers for 2022 that were released so far and are standing out to me. Which fragrances are standing out to you? I have a lot more on the way that I'll bring to you, but also, man, I know we talked about some things that I find important at the top of this video. Hopefully you do as well. And if you wanted to help Manscaped give back, or if you just wanted to hop into this Manscaped game and take your personal grooming and hygiene to another level with your fragrances, as well as what your body is going to look like, presentable below that waistline, be sure to click on the link down below and make sure that you are hooked up. Listen, that's all I have for you guys and girls out there today. As always, I'm your boy, Big B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend that we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Just hit the goddamn